Think of police or law enforcement in general, you may have arrests, chases, or some other high-flying heroics come to mind. Over the next few weeks, we'll be taking a closer look at how the Evansville Police Department is spread out across the city, often keeping you safe behind the scenes. Mitch Carter has this special report.
Born and raised in California. I worked at a prison as a correctional officer for 7 years. I applied for EPD, and then I got lucky enough to get on, and I actually moved here the same week I got sworn in. I remember I never heard of grippos or ski. I called it Sky, and a guy on the west side almost took my head off.
When you think of police officers, particularly those like Officer Andrew Smith, standing above 6 feet tall and hailing from a background of football and working inside of a California prison, your mind may wander toward drug busts, high-speed chases, and big arrests. However, that's not all the Evansville Police Department has to offer, as Officer Smith quickly learned himself upon making the move across the country to join EPD.
The high-speed chases or drugs and guns, those are all fun. Don't get me wrong, that's a real fun way to be a cop too, but I love having conversations with people, meeting people, and actually seeing the change that I'm doing. Like, you can see it as you're talking to someone, and as you leave that home, that family's a little bit more better than when you got there.
With a flair for communication and a love of connecting with his new community, Officer Smith, now in his 4th year with EPD, jumped at the chance to land a gig with the Crime Prevention Unit, where he's been an officer since last spring. Now, instead of doing standard patrol all the time, he and his unit have the opportunity to try and get out in front of the crime before it happens, rather than being reactive to it.
This is all the east side right here. So this is East 1, so I'm in charge of East 1, which is here. I'm also in charge of East 3. Eastwood does East 2 and East 4, and we share East 5. We have neighborhood meetings, so neighborhoods get together. They have meetings like Neighborhood Watch almost, and we meet with them once a month, and we give them crime stats and talk to them about what's going on with their community, which helps out, because if we have an open line of communication with them and us, it helps our job better, and it makes them feel safer.
Beyond checking in with neighborhood leaders, the CPU will still go out and patrol, keeping an eye on crime statistics in the city and keeping an eye on the areas that need it.
Like you can see how these little pins, that there's a bunch of them up in here. So we knew there was a lot of break-ins right there, so we tried to hit that area.
For the most part, though, Officer Smith now gets to do what he loves, talking to people and making connections, working to keep the city safe before the crimes ever occur. It's an opportunity he gives credit for to both a community that supports its law enforcement, as well as a police force that offers the chance to branch into what suits each officer best.
You see the patrol officers every day, but that's like in the trenches, right? They're in the trenches, they're doing this, they're going run. But then on the back end, we have multiple detective units from AIU office, sex crimes, hit and run. We have all these offices, and then we have things like the Crime Prevention Unit. We have SWAT, we have drone, we have FTO program. So it's a really cool way to have all the resources EPD has here to provide to someone who wants a lifelong career in law enforcement.